Excuses are wonderful poison. Sometimes I think we like them so well, the losses they cause us are preferred to releasing them and achieving success. A great step toward freedom is choosing a large dream and making it a reality. It doesn't matter if you're a single mother drenched from bath time or a Fortune 500 CEO sweating a stock plunge. Stress happens. In fact, stress is a normal part of being human. Most of us hear the word stress and instinctively think it's a bad thing. Actually, it isn't. When you look closely, stress is merely a person or organization's way of meeting a demand. If there were no demands to meet and no changes occurring, then the human or business is stagnant. Everything alive changes as a result of meeting demands. Some demands are to eat, to establish cash flow, or in the case of a tree, to prepare for the advance of winter. Trees are great examples of change. People fear change because it brings the unexpected. We just tend to assume erroneously that the unexpected is always bad. But it might actually be good if we'd give the unknown a chance. But back to trees. Trees change constantly. In the spring, they're dappled in little green buds. In the summer, they wave waxy green leaves in the breeze. In fall, those leaves transform into kaleidoscopic colors twirling to the ground. In winter, bare branches claw at the sky. Harder to perceive, but just as real, is the renewing of bark and the addition of growth rings each year. The difference between a living tree and, say, a desk made of wood is simply change. The tree embraces change and demonstrates it, while the desk does not. It illustrates a powerful principle. Anything that's not changing is dead. To grow, one must embrace change. To embrace change, one must encounter stress. So this brings us back to meeting demands. Logically, meeting a demand means having the necessary skills or resources to do so successfully. There are three kinds of stress in life. One really isn't a type of stress, but rather its opposite. These types are boredom, eustress, and distress. When you have abundant resources or outstanding skills and face a challenge that is far below your capabilities, then you encounter negative stress or boredom. It's like a pro ball player going up against middle school kids every game night. After a while, the ease becomes gut-wrenching. However, place that pro ball player in a pro game, and the stadium's cheering fans, coupled with his opponent's charging enthusiasm, become exhilarating. His capabilities are a match for the demands, generating eustress, a positive, enjoyable, and growth-generating state of being. He wins some, he loses some, but in the end he makes a choice to meet the demands, and he has the capacity to either conquer them or grow from the encounter. But what if we put one of those middle school players in a pro ball game? Now the skills are disproportionate to the demands. Distress occurs. The situation is beyond the player's control. They probably aren't choosing to face such an overwhelming obstacle, and the pressures are overpowering. Perhaps this is where you are today, either in business or in life. If you've been in this state for a while and have tried to escape or overcome it but can't, then you're probably feeling, in the absence of a more technical word, stuck. Unfortunately, staying in this state for a long time delivers very detrimental blows to both your physical and mental health. Beyond the emergence of stress-related diseases such as ulcers, obesity, heart disease, and diabetes, living in a constant state of distress can generate anxiety disorders and depression. The paralysis of fear sets in. You give ground and give ground, backed into a corner and pummeled to the floor. With it comes hopelessness and desperation. But making decisions based on despair only tend to make the situation worse. What to do? Getting unstuck means refocusing from defeat to achievement. Many have stared down the barrel of heartache and frustration for so long they've forgotten any other view. This must change. Severe or prolonged distress can trigger changes in the brain related to perception, identity, and sympathetic nervous system reactions. Extreme forms of these alterations are called post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, but anyone crushed by distress for a long period of time can begin to show similar symptoms. To address skewed perceptions and self-defeating reactions, it's helpful to revisit or completely redefine your values. Your value system is the key to your identity, and your identity will propel your purpose and direction. Although oversimplified here, it is this process that allows you to refocus on your goals and navigate a way out of your current circumstances. Success does imply change and often sacrifice. Any given choice we make, of necessity, denies any other number of choices we could otherwise make at that time. Aiming high implies a cost to one's responsibilities, relationships, and overall lifestyle. And with change comes fear. We may hate our life as it presently exists, but at least we know what to expect. Unknown dangers and hidden repercussions are things we feel unprepared to handle, and therefore we avoid them with all our strength. But the way out is through, and there are unknown joys and hidden rewards on the road winding beyond where your tires remain bogged down. As Forrest Gump so eloquently put it, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Perhaps that is why so few people get unstuck or achieve great things. They're afraid of failure. But mistakes are a vital part of learning, and some losses are really gains once we understand them. Even so, what does it mean to achieve great things anyway? I suppose that's something that depends upon perspective. For the arthritic 75-year-old grandmother, she has achieved something great if she gets up early enough to have lunch on the stove and cooking so it will be ready by the time Sunday morning service lets out. For me, it's making a global impact and helping others grasp the wondrous potential God placed within each of us. For you, maybe it's a grander vision. Maybe it's simply getting unstuck. Or is success simpler than any of these? Perhaps living a humble life of pleasing God is really the true measure of success, one that holds the greatest rewards of joy and contentment, though they be veiled. I think anything we do can be used for God's glory and can consequently bring us success and freedom. Yet fear still remains to keep us in check, offering excuses, biting our fingernails, and wondering what to do. Scripture says that the righteous are bold as lions, Proverbs 28:1. And this is what I think is needed for one to triumph over any distressing bog. With faith in one's mind, love in one's heart, and growth one's goal, nothing is impossible. Aim for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll still be among the stars. There exists no mud pit capable of trapping those who can fly. Now rise. Until next time, don't just be transformed, be kinged.